Good morning, everybody. Dave Schmidt and Matt Nestor and producer Tom Warner. I think we're all woke up now for that first segment there. You never know, do you? Okay, I'm going to give you this one. I told you in between that I was going to give you this subject that kind of hit this week. I did a story. You know, I do the State Line alumni where we update. You know, I think people like that. They get to see it and they'll send us stuff about some of the kids playing. I put up there about 3 Auburn Knights. Marcus Posley, Fred Van Fleet, and Antoine Pittman. You know, they had good nights. Posley had 30 points. Right away, I get some confirmation that Posley never played for Auburn. If you go to St. Bonaventure's website, it says high school, it says Auburn.
Yes.
His graduation
was from Auburn.
Says Auburn. And I never said he played there. I just said, that's 3 kids that went to Auburn that are playing really good D1 basketball.
Right.
And we had a nice talk, don't get me wrong, but it just kind of took me by surprise because I was just trying to tie it in, get a nice story, you know, and had a good night, you know, KNIGHT, that kind of stuff like that. What do you think about that? Well, I hit you cold with it because I wanted you to have a reaction like I did.
I think you got some people that there are a lot of bad feelings, I think, still over that situation on multiple levels. You know, I think you've got Auburn people that are, you know, upset that he wasn't able to play that year. You know, may or may not have made a difference necessarily once they get downstate, but may or may not have made a difference in maybe them making the title game or maybe even winning the whole thing.
I would have made a difference.
So I think there's some bad feelings on the Auburn side about how he wasn't able to play, especially when you look around the state and see other guys that are allowed to play,
especially in Chicago,
and those kind of things, and even some similar situations in this area that, you know, since then that haven't seemed to be as big of a deal, you know, for whatever reason. But, you know, I think there's also some lingering feelings from, you know, obviously Winnebago people for him leaving, you know, from other schools for where he decided to go and those kind of things. But it's interesting, I mean, all of us, what do we consider our high school, where we graduated from?
Yeah, that's, you're an alumni of Auburn.
Exactly, or wherever it is you graduated from.
His diploma says Auburn on it, and I was not a shot at, as a matter of fact, when I did the story, man, I put them in brackets. I put Auburn/Winnebago.
Right.
That way I thought I covered it all. I guess I didn't cover it all.
But that's what he is. He graduated from Auburn. He's an Auburn Knight. Granted, he didn't play, but, you know, he also practiced there for a full year. I know that.
Yeah. He wasn't not allowed to do that.
Right.
And do you remember, I actually taped him because he couldn't be on Saturday morning. I had the head coach from Ball State, and I asked him a question. Did that bother you that Marcus Posley did not play his senior year because of the transfer? His answer was, and I couldn't find the interview again, which I had that. He said no, because if he wouldn't have went to Auburn, he wouldn't have got the credits that he needed to play basketball. And that's starting to be a big thing now in the NCAA.
It really is. It really is when you look at that. There's been a lot of eligibility issues when you look at that about, you know, questions over transcripts and grades and not having the right things and that kind of stuff. So it was a move he needed to make, and he did make, and he got where he needed to go, thanks in large part to Auburn. And again, that's where he graduated from. So, I would consider him an Auburn Knight, whether he played there or not. You know. And
to be fair to Winnebago, there's still a lot of talk about, I know Suggs supposedly has had some offers.
Right.
You know, they thought maybe he was going to move out this year. I saw his dunk the other night. I was on WREX. Anyway, he's had some offers. There's some other kids that they talk about maybe transferring out. Well, and that happens at a lot of schools, but it just seems like Winnebago probably had some high-profile guys do that.
Let's face it, though, that's just the name of the game anymore. You know, we were talking, you know, during the break about transfers at the college level and everything, but you see it at the high school, and not just in Chicago. I know we rail on the whole Chicago situation a lot, and how much transfers happens there, and it's much more prevalent there than it is everywhere else, obviously, but it's just the name of the game everywhere. You know, if you've got somebody that's good, somebody else is going to want them. And if they can figure out a way to get them, they're going to try to get them, you know.
Do you remember that year, though, that same year, that kid from Winnebago also transferred to Hononegah?
Yeah.
And he moved, and he played, remember?
And
nice
he did
ball player, but he wasn't a Marcus Posley type player, but he started at Hononegah. And I don't remember hearing as much guff about that at all.
No, you didn't, you know, and that's the thing. And, you know. And
what was his name? Do you remember he had a...
he was a
nice ball player.
Yeah,
I like
he was. He was. You know, but you've had other high-profile ones, obviously.
Antoine?
Yeah, Antoine Pittman, Quavion Scott from Freeport a few years ago. You know, and it's just, it happens. You know, we've had kids, you know, moving over to Lutheran, or they move to Boylan, or wherever the case may be. Like I said, if you've got a if you've got good players, people are going to try to figure out a way to get them. I had a conversation with one coach who, they've got some nice young players in his program, and we're talking. And he says, "Yeah, in a couple of years we could be pretty good." But even he knew, and he threw it in there. He said, "We could be pretty good as long as we can keep everybody together, because that's just the name of the game anymore."
AAU has a lot to do with that.
It does have a lot to do with that, and especially if you've got 2 or 3 or 4 of your teammates that are playing at a certain school, yeah, you want to go play with them. But if you play with them all summer at AAU, it's only natural you'd want to go play with them, in high school, especially if you can figure out a way to get there. And, I don't know if I don't want to accuse any coaches of anything. I don't know how many coaches, at least in our area, are actively going out and recruiting players. But I tell you what, if a player calls you up too and says, "Hey, I'd like to go to school there," I don't know what coach isn't
or if
going to...
he shows up the first day of school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know a coach that isn't going to try to help the kid figure out a way to make sure he can be eligible and play. He might not be calling him up when he's not there saying, "Hey, you should come play with us." But, yeah, if he shows up on the first day of school or if he reaches out or something like that, yeah, they might help figure out a way to get you eligible, because everybody wants to win at the end of the day, too.
A month or so ago, I did the stories on Trinity, the girls' basketball program.
Right.
And I had a lot of people getting in contact with me because I was printing it in the Chicago papers when we were doing this. But I had one guy tell me, says, "This is big because if they don't do something about the program, other coaches are watching saying if they can get away with this and be blatant about it,
yeah,
I'm going to do the same thing. So why should I have to sit back and let a guy do this to me?" Well, that guy lost his job now. He's out. Yeah. And he's got other problems besides that, but that's what happens.
But I think you got coaches feeling that way too.
Yeah.
I think they look at certain programs, certain schools or whatever that end up with some players and say, "You know what, if this is how it's going to be, I'm going to do it too." I'm not just going to sit back and lose my job because I can't compete
or recruit.
Exactly. When somebody else is maybe doing something like that. So I think it just... The moral of it, I think that just highlights a lot of some of the bad feelings that are still left over, and really kind of the trend it started in this area, of some of the trend. Not that there wasn't ever transfers before,
yeah, it's
but it's really been prevalent in this area since that.
People say to me, "Why do you get so upset about it?" I say, "Well, it's against the rules. Until they say everybody can transfer whenever they want without a problem, that's it."
Yeah.